Nuclear war has been depicted in countless movies and video games, such as the Fallout franchise, but what is it really like, and what would it take to survive a nuclear war? I'm going to break this video into three parts. The first part will be about what to do before the bomb drops. The second part will be about what to do during and right after the bomb drops, and the third part will be about what to do longer down the line. Okay, for part one, we'll start with location. Here is a map of nuclear targets in the US. If you live near any large cities, airfields, nuclear testing sites, large hydroelectric dams, airports, or military bases, move. The next step for part one is a bunker. There are lots of important things to consider when making a bunker. The first is the depth at which the bunker is buried. In my last video, which you can watch here, I talked about half value layers, but basically what this means is that every material has different strengths of insulation against radiation. If you want to know the science behind what it means if things are radioactive and the different types of radiation and what they do, then watch my last video. It'll be in the description. But half value layers are the thickness of a material it takes to half the original energy, aka radiation. The half value layer of steel is half an inch, which means it takes half an inch of steel to take 1000 rads to 500 rads. You get what I'm saying, right? So if the door is 1 foot thick, it's the same as 1000 divided in half 24 times. 3 feet of dirt will take 1000 rads to only 1. Okay, great, but what is the bunker going to be made of? Well, in my opinion, for a family or a smaller group, the best option is going to be a massive culvert pipe. This might sound weird, but let me explain why. Number one, the round shape is very strong as long as there is firmly packed dirt around it when you bury it. Number two, there is built-in storage. I'll get to that later. Number three, there is very little echo. Okay, to start making a bunker, find a location. We talked about this earlier. Then, I would recommend hiring a worker to come out with an excavator. Some of my friends and I tried digging ours, and we dug a hole 12 feet wide, 10 feet long, and about 4 feet deep after about a month of digging. Just hire someone, trust me. You will want them to dig a hole 30 feet deep, 18 feet wide, and 36 feet long. After that, buy a 12-foot diameter stainless steel culvert pipe, 30 feet long, and you can buy them on the internet. Trust me, I've looked. Next, before putting your culvert pipe in the ground, bury 2 metal plates and weld one to one end of the culvert pipe. Of course, it has to be the same diameter as the culvert pipe. Next, get some 2x6s and some plywood and make a flat surface in the culvert, which will be your floor. Now to what I said earlier about built-in storage. Cut a hole in the floor of plywood and buy 2 door hinges and make a hatch to the space underneath the plywood. You can store lots of food or anything you want down here. Credit to Atlas Survival Shelters for the background video. I'm not sponsored, but I watch his channel and he is by far the best bunker company I've seen. The design is practical and smart. Next, buy a smaller culvert pipe with a diameter of 4 feet. This will be the culvert you put your ladder down through to get down to the bunker. You can put whatever furniture you want in it, then bury it. This is a very broad description and is missing lots of major steps or things you would need to make a bunker that you could actually survive in. But I'm going to stop here because if I kept going, it would possibly take hours to talk about everything. I'll have a link in the description to Atlas Survival Shelters if you really want to know how to either buy one from him or make your own. The next step for part 1 is supplies. Supplies means a large spectrum of things, so I will sort them into these categories: food, water, defenses, energy, knowledge, medication, communications, and protective gear. First is food. It's rather self-explanatory, but the best and most efficient way of storing food is freeze-dried food. When buying freeze-dried food, make sure you have a good variety of meals so you get as many nutrients and vitamins as you need. But you still might need more vitamins, so buy lots of packs of multivitamin gummies. Next is water. Water is easily stored by getting a water tank and burying it underground next to your bunker. Make sure you have at least 3 feet of dirt above it to protect from gamma rays. Have a pipe from your water tank going into your bunker. You decide how many gallons it should store and try to make sure it'll last you and everyone else in the bunker 1 month. Another way to get water is having an underground well going straight into the bunker. And make sure you regularly test how high radiation levels are. If they are higher than normal, don't drink the well water. You'll test the radiation levels using a Geiger counter, which I'll talk about later. Another thing I will post in the description below is a link to a video where a guy from the Game Theorist will talk about making water stills. It's really great. I recommend you go watch it after this video. The next part is defenses. I don't care what people say about not wanting to use guns. I'm not joking. In one video, a guy said that he likes using a slingshot instead. It's ridiculous for a few reasons, because during an event like this, other people will have guns, and if you don't, people will take advantage of you by taking your things. And if all your food, medicine, clean water, and anything of value to you is gone, you will probably die. Also, if there are any rabid or aggressive animals, you will also want a gun to protect yourself. It's just an obvious decision. The amount of guns depends on how much you want to spend and what you already have. I would recommend at least a couple of AR-15s. Also, fun fact, the AR in AR-15 does not mean assault rifle, it actually means Armalite rifle, which is a company that made them. A better scenario would be to have, depending on the size of your group, let's say 5 people, 2 bolt-action rifles with good scopes. These will act as sniper rifles, so you don't have to risk being close to whatever you are shooting at. 6.5 Creedmoors work great as sniper rifles. In fact, it's what the military is now using. This is a good example for a good bolt-action rifle. You should also have some mid-range rifles. The AR-15 is a good example. I recommend getting as many of these as people in your group can shoot. Next is shotguns. Get at least 2 12-gauge shotguns for self-defense. This is mainly for self-defense around your bunker and house. Pistols are not required, but it would be a good idea to have one on you, and the reason is that you can't hide an AR-15 bolt-action rifle or 12-gauge shotgun, but you can hide pistols. One thing with guns and lots of other things is that you will be horrible using them if you don't practice. They'll be way more effective if you know how to use them, so please go practice with them. Guns also need 2 more things, ammo and cleaning. Make sure you buy the right ammunition for the right guns, otherwise they might just not fire or possibly blow up. Cleaning a gun isn't that difficult when you buy your gun. Read the owner's manual to see how to clean them and what you need to clean them. Before I end this section, I just want to clarify that I don't think after nuclear war or other similar scenarios that you should just shoot anyone that you think might be a dangerous person. What I wanted to get across in this section was what self-defenses you should have and why. I think you should only shoot someone if you know for a fact that they will either try to harm or kill you. Also, be smart. Let's say, for example, that after the nukes drop, there is a bad gang of people, or raiders if you play Fallout, and you see them in the distance. Also, before I keep talking about that, 2 more things I forgot to add. Binoculars to carry with you if you are going into a town to scavenge for something. And another thing is a spotting scope. 2 would be good, 1 at the bunker to see if anyone is coming, and another to look down at a town from up on a hill to see if anyone is there before going in to scavenge. Okay, back to what I was talking about. If you see a bad gang of raiders in the distance, and you know they don't see you, or know where you are, don't try and snipe them, because then that will just attract their attention and bring them towards you. Anyways, on to the next part. The next part is energy. Getting a gas-powered generator wouldn't be a bad idea, but eventually you would either run out of fuel or the fuel would go bad. After about a month, gasoline starts to go bad, and at 2 years, even with fuel stabilizer, it's basically done. So what you're going to want to do is buy solar panels and rechargeable batteries to power whatever you want energy for. The next part is knowledge. What I meant by this was mainly books, because after a nuclear apocalypse, you won't have any Wi-Fi, so if you want to learn how to do anything, you have to either learn it by trial and error, someone else teaching you, or a book. Some good books might be medical or first aid books, gardening books, or just some nonfiction books if you're bored to read. The next part is medication. This is very important. Some examples are ibuprofen, hydrogen peroxide, and Neosporin. I can't sit here and list all the medication you would want in an event like this, but make sure you buy one thing: potassium iodide. This will help you prevent your thyroid from absorbing so much harmful radiation. For the rest, do some research and figure out what you would want, and don't be shy. Some good items are tourniquets, gauze pads, and wraps. Also practice first aid beforehand. The next part is communications. For this, you will want a ham radio. Make sure you have power, because a ham radio definitely will need power. And make sure that you don't tell anyone, even your own family members, over the radio where you are, because others can listen to you and you don't want anyone else knowing where your bunker is. The next part is protective gear. Some of these would include hazmat suits, gas mask filters, and Geiger counters. When purchasing gas mask filters, make sure you buy NBC air filters. NBC stands for nuclear, biological, and chemical. If you want me to talk about anything in this video or have questions on things such as gas mask filters or more about the bunkers, let me know in the comments below. Finally, on to part 2. And then boom. Well, you're in the bunker now, hopefully. What do? First, take some potassium iodide. Now, if you got in the bunker before the bomb dropped, you don't have to do this next step. But if you entered in the bunker after the bomb exploded, take off all your clothes because they are radioactive, and take a shower. Throw your old clothes in the corner of the bunker or down the garbage. When you take a shower, make sure you don't use conditioner. This will bind radioactive particles into your hair. Then comes the waiting game. Don't leave your shelter for 2 days at least, and I recommend waiting 2 weeks if you can stand it. Keep in communication with your family and members, but try to lay low, and you'll probably be off far better than almost all people. For part 3, you will adventure out of your bunker again and hopefully meet up with some people. Maybe not. Either way, try not to get on anyone's bad side and ration your supplies. Set up your solar panels and start a garden, maybe even a farm, and hopefully you're okay. Anyways guys, thank you for watching this video, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Like I said before, if you want me to do a specific video about anything or have questions, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. Bye.